Danielle Marsh versus Torrance Reed.
Marsh versus Reed.
26-year-old Danielle and her mother were in court to address her ex-boyfriend, 40-year-old Torrance Reed, once and for all.
Ms. Marsh, you and your mom have demanded the defendant, Mr. Reed, appear in court today because you say he denies your 1-year-old daughter, Tamari.
Their story began when she had just turned 18, fresh out of high school, when then 33-year-old Torrance met her.
In your mind, was this your boyfriend?
Yeah.
He lived in California and she in Ohio. They had slept together, so she assumed when he went back to California, it was a committed, monogamous, long-distance relationship.
I never knew he was dating other women.
Little did she know, he had other plans.
I'm a Muslim, so I was planning on having 4 wives.
She did find out real quick. When Torrance invited her out on a trip, she thought they'd be alone.
He says, let me introduce you to my wife?
Torrance. He claimed he let Danielle know he was inviting her out on the trip to meet his wife.
I have never heard of a man taking a woman on vacation to meet their wife.
He was Muslim and intended to have not 1, not 2, or 3, but 4 wives.
Fake Muslim. He's a wannabe Muslim.
And she would potentially be one of them.
I didn't know nothing about him wanting 4 wives.
When confronted about their age difference,
How old are you?
I just turned 26 last
And
month.
how old are you, Mr. Reed?
I'm 40.
he defends his actions by pointing back the finger.
She's steady talking about what I'm doing, but she have numerous means.
After 7 long years of dating, Danielle finally understood that their relationship was doomed.
He want to go travel state to state to have different babies and find another wife, and he get these women involved.
The courtroom was in shock as the results were revealed.
You are not the father.
She hadn't mentioned being intimate with another man before.
I know who the father is. Oh, he has 10 kids, so
He has how many?
he has 10 other kids.
Are you using baby Tamari to trap Mr. Reed?
He really never. Jamila Webster versus Terry House. Church pastor and Bishop Terry House was in court in defense of sleeping with a girl 28 years younger than him, 20-year-old Jamila Webster.
I want to stress that right away, that I'm a man and I have manly needs, but I'm also a pastor.
Jamila met him at church, thinking she was attending an innocent Bible study.
We met at a church. It was supposed to be like a Bible study thing. Instead of that, it's like unprotected sex.
Things
There
escalated.
was a connection. I thought she was hot.
She had confided in the church pastor after her mother died.
She went through a tragedy. She lost her mom. I went through tragedy. I lost my child.
Instead of consoling and guiding her, he made a move to get into her pants.
We just had a great time together.
To add insult to injury, he defended his actions by
I'm
stating
a man and I have manly needs.
he even went on to blame her
She's with me for money.
and called her names in court.
Quickly, she became a hoochie, and that's what it was all about.
What a guy. Poor girl's probably lost her faith in the midst of this all.
Is that proper language to use for a young woman?
His intentions weren't even to marry her.
No, it was just a hookup.
Just a hookup.
It was a booty call.
He just wanted what he wanted.
I'm a man and I have manly needs.
Jamila was involved with 3 different men when she conceived her child.
You were, in fact, sleeping with someone else during that time.
Yes, he was a boyfriend, but it was on and off.
And one of the other potential fathers was in court to receive paternity tests. Their relationship had started off casual, but turned into a committed one.
And I started catching feelings. She started catching feelings also, so we made a serious relationship.
He had no idea she was sleeping around with her pastor while going to church.
But she was like, well, you are the father. That's why I'm telling you. Because
That's a lie. I told him it's a possibility that he can be my baby's father.
Despite the cheating, Andre stepped up to take care of her daughter.
I was there ever since she told me that she was pregnant when she was 6 months. I made sure she ate good, feet rub, back rub. A million is 3 months now. I've been there since day 1 and before day 1.
Meanwhile, Pastor Terry disconnected his phone and moved out of town.
When you left town, did you know she was
I
pregnant?
had no idea at all whatsoever.
Terry accused Jamila of being after his money.
The baby looked like his mom. She looked like his mom.
I'm sure for money, Your Honor, it's gonna always look like my mother, look like me, look like Bruce Lee.
What
anybody
money?
she
I
wanted
never
to be.
While Andre was hoping it was his kid.
You're actually hoping this child is yours.
Yes, I am.
The results visibly broke his heart, but he wasn't about to let them
In
go.
my eyes, that's still my daughter. I've been here this long. Why stop?
As for Pastor House,
You are not her father.
not the father either.
Miss Webster, do you know who your child's father is?
Yes, my ex-boyfriend.
Jamila shed her tears quietly as she apologized to the pastor for bringing him to court.
I just think it's wrong. I think an
I'm
apology
sorry.
is definitely due.
I'm sorry.
But I
Byron Pace versus Rashida Fobbs. Byron had come to know Rashida's son, Prince, to be his own.
Mr. Pace, you say you will be crushed today if DNA results reveal you are not the biological father of your son, Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
He had no idea there was a possibility that his best friend Sam could have fathered the child.
You're Mr. Pace's best friend and the second potential father of Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
His girlfriend went behind his back and had an affair with his best friend.
We both was intoxicated. He's not there. Me and her talk, and the talk led to something else.
Rashida was still hopeful that her boyfriend was the father.
He's an excellent father. I couldn't ask for a better person.
And they could move on with their lives.
I want everything to stay the way it is. I don't want us to separate the situation.
Byron explains that his relationship with his girlfriend, his friend, and the child in question was in jeopardy.
I'm very confused at this point. It's my best friend, and this is my woman. I've been knowing Mr. Randolph 10, 12, 15 years almost.
Byron and Sam were living together as roommates when Rashida came into the picture.
She had on short shorts. I'm a leg man, and I ended up getting her phone number.
Their relationship moved quickly, and she moved in to live with them shortly after meeting.
We kind of bonded real quick.
Supposedly in a committed relationship.
The situation with me and Randolph only happened once.
He had no idea she had cheated on him during the time of conception.
Shortly after her moving in, she became pregnant.
He wouldn't have found out if it wasn't for a heated argument.
Prince was 2.5 at the time. Kind of just got blurted out to me that Mr. Randolph could be a potential father.
She waited more than 3 years to tell him he might not be the father.
He knows Byron as his dad, and that's the way I want it to stay.
Rashida tells a story of how Byron was working long nights.
He's never really home. I kind of took that as a feeling of neglect.
And she found herself in the arms of Sam to cope with the loneliness.
I do work a lot. I promote clubs and parties, so I am out.
She admits what happened was a big mistake.
The situation with me and Randolph was the worst mistake I ever made.
Was it only one time?
Honestly, that I can recall, yes.
Girlfriend of 6 years on one side and his best friend of 12 years on the other. Byron's doubts weighed heavy on his shoulders.
One time is one time too many for me.
They were all ready for some answers. Everybody held their breath as the results were revealed.
Mr. Pace, you are not his father.
Which means...
Mr. Randolph, you are not...
What? Oh, what a twist. Byron pushes Rashida back as a new truth emerges that there was a third man she must have been sleeping with.
Do you know who Prince's father is?
No.